Today we're working on a 2013 Honda Accord, and we're going to be doing the engine mounts. First things first, you're going to place a jack underneath the oil pan to support the engine. We're going to start out with the left mount. Loosen this bolt, 17 millimeter. It's going to be pretty tough. Then you're going to remove this 10 mil on the ground, and then you're going to get these two 17 millimeter bolts out. Take the bolts out, and you could remove this top piece, and you can see that our mount is pretty loose. There's not much of a mount there. Then you're gonna have three bolts right here, 17 millimeter. Take those off. And there's your old mount. With your new mount, squeeze it in and just gonna line it up. Put your bolts through. You're just gonna snug it up right here. With the torque wrench, set it to 47 foot-pounds. You're gonna come up here, line up this piece, put your two bolts through. Just make sure your grounding strap is facing up here. And you're just gonna snug them up. I like to leave them a little loose just so I can line up this bolt first. If you have to, drop your jack a little bit on 17 millimeter. Get it pretty snug. And then 47 foot-pounds. And then last one, 47 foot-pounds as well. Now we could put our grounding strap back on. 10 millimeter bolt. And that's it for that mount. On this one, you're gonna grab your pliers, squeeze this through, and then push outward, just like that. 17 millimeter, take these two top bracket bolts off. And then you could pull this bracket straight up. Careful about the other bracket. Gotta fish it out. This was just at the top. And then your other bolt. With the 14 millimeter, I got this long box end wrench. And your superhuman strength should be able to get it off. And there's your 14 millimeter bolt. And then you're gonna raise up the engine a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these out, but first I went ahead and pulled this line out of that center with the screwdriver. All I did was stick it in and twist and popped it out. And then I came back over here on this side and I loosened the bolts for the mount. That way we were able to get some play on the top of here. And I'm gonna move the boot with the 14 mil, get it on there. Move the boot. Okay, pull your four bolts out. And you're gonna slide this forward. At this point, you could probably slide the boot out. If you need to, jack it up a little bit. And after a good while, there's our other mount. You can see where it's damaged. Oh look, rust water. So with your new mount on the bottom, you didn't get to see, but there's a vacuum line that goes right underneath it. So just push it on. And let's try to fish it back in. Make sure you put your boot before you try to slide it back on. Once you slid it, align the holes. Actually, let me show you. I put a little piece of paper towel. I don't have a magnetic socket, but it should help you kind of align it. And if you have to, move the mountain around as you twist it. Once you got them all centered and a few threads in, go ahead and snug them down. After you snug them up, you're going to use a torque wrench. It's 40 foot-pounds. You're just going to push this boot after you torqued everything down. Put the boot back into place. And we're going to put this vacuum line back in. We're going to go back to this side and tighten these up. And 47 foot-pounds. On the bottom of the car, I relocated the jack right underneath the transmission right there. Side, I'm going to disconnect the battery. I'd already loosened it. And I'm not going to put that bolt on yet and the bracket on top, just because I want there to be some play on this side. That way it'd be easier to put that mount on. I'm going to unbolt this filter box. You can bring it up like that. And I'm going to take it off from here. Phillips screw on the boot. Once you got that loose, I'm going to squeeze right here. Pull that out. And I'm going to plug the mass airflow. And you could take this box out. So we're going to take the filter and we can unbolt it from here. Then there's a 10 mil here. And there. Should just come off like that. That'll expose us to our other mount. We're gonna see if we can get it off without taking this bracket all the way off. We need more power. Attempt number 2, 17 mil. And now there's a 3/14 mil. Oh, you can see that it's loose. And I got a wobble 14 right here. Again, we're gonna need more power. Attempt number 2, 14 mil. Got that one out. I don't want it to fall, so I'm gonna grab it. Then one more. And I'm gonna raise it a little bit more. Since we do have the other motor mount loose, it looks like, yep. Yep, looks like we were able to take it out. Let's see. This one's not as bad, but yeah, it's still bad. It's got a lot of play in it. We're gonna slide our new mount back on, push it through. This might take you a minute or two. I ended up having to try a lot of different methods off camera. So on this next clip, I'll be explaining what I did and what actually worked. All right, I had a mess with this off camera. Technically, it wasn't even cut right in the center of the mount. But we grabbed the tap and we ended up cleaning the threads. Then what we did is we put this bolt on first. That gave us a lot of play. And we put the hardest bolt to put on, the one that's back here, that 14 mil. And then obviously these two. Now we're just ready to tighten them up. We're gonna start with the ones that mount up to the car itself. And we're gonna tighten these ones down. I'm gonna let go of the weight a little bit so it can touch. And I didn't find a torque spec for these, so I'm just gonna snug them up pretty good. Third one. Go back and recheck these. Put our air box back. Gonna grab our first piece, and you can move your negative cable. The only reason I disconnected this, I thought we were gonna have to move the PCM right here, but that's a preference if you want to disconnect it. I'm sure the manual says you do, but okay. Now that you centered those, go ahead and with the 10 mils, go ahead and sunk those up. Grab your clean air filter if you got one. We don't have one on hand. I really recommend changing it if it looks like that. You want to push this end, and then these will go into these grooves. Make sure everything's out of the way. There we go. Clip it so it doesn't move. And we can tighten this up. The screwdriver, Phillips that is. Now, go ahead and clip this back on, and the connector for the mass airflow sensor. Once you got everything put back together here, we're going to come back down. I put our bolt in the center, and we're going to do 40 foot-pounds on this. So if you're having trouble getting any of these bolts in, especially this one, you could always loosen these 3 bolts, the ones that are on the engine itself. Loosen those, and if you have to, go ahead and loosen these bolts as well. That's going to give you a lot more play and be able to put the bolts in correctly. The worst thing you can do is cross thread them, and then you'd probably have to get a new mount. This top bracket back in, put it down. This little tab is actually gonna go on that side, and we could put these weird bolts back in, both of them, and then torque them down to 47 foot-pounds. Okay, you're gonna go ahead and grab your vacuum line, push back there, clip it back on, and push it right here. All right, that looks a lot better. We're gonna close it off now. If this video helped you out, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you on the next one.